Now, Justice, two non-lawyers have spoken, and I want to bring you in a bit to see this.
I thought you were going
first
for the politician.
No, I'll come to the two of you. I'll come to the two of you. First, the issues that are being raised about going to the press and talking about the cases you are filing. The last time I had to say here, as part of my research for my show, that in the US, the DA's offices, they do these things. But of course, they do it with ethical considerations. And so before I came on today, I had to go check again. And I checked recent example, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg held press briefings on high-profile cases, including the indictment of former President Trump in 2023. He discussed the legal proceedings and broader justice initiatives in interviews, reflecting on the public scrutiny surrounding such cases. I've checked elsewhere, other jurisdictions. They do almost the same thing. I've done a list from Los Angeles, Fulton, Cook County, and other places where they do this. Do you share the view of others that the Attorney General should not be doing this thing that the SP2 has been doing? They shouldn't be doing because it's prejudicial. Then Mary also speaks about the fact that when it gets into the court, it's left these two people. It's become the judges and their job. What they do with them, that is not the business of these other people. Justice Amadou Tanko, just this week, was speaking and said the judiciary has a role in the extractive sector. And he said that judges must act as custodians of legal accountability. They are the stewards of justice, where community rights, state interests, and private interests intersect. He says that the judiciary has a responsibility to safeguard land and mineral resources and so on and so forth. This was at a training that he was saying. Balance the two so that in the end, people don't get disappointed. When people are discharged, then they say, oh, the judges have left them.
Yes, Samson, I think the splits or different opinions are generally arising because, one, this approach is relatively new to us as a country, relatively new. Just as you mentioned, in the US, this is common practice. Other jurisdictions also have same. Unfortunately, I think we are where we are just because of the way Oware itself started. The footprints were more of a political activity because it was part of the campaign and, party functionaries, everybody was on. And then we get to a point where we are looking at the issues proper. Where
Free SHS was a political activity.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's the way it started. Then we are at the point where we need to look at the core issues. The evidences available, the investigations, what the findings are looking like, the potential charges that can be slapped on the alleged persons, and then, of course, what will actually happen in courts. So I see it this way, that we started off with the political foot, but we are now actually getting into the legalities proper. And if you look at what the AG did yesterday, I think it was a big improvement on the previous one. He's also very convinced in his mind that, look, these are things that are done elsewhere. And for him, once he's in office, he wants to pursue it and make sure that as much as possible, some level of information is shared with the general population. But one thing I liked about yesterday was he kept saying that these are allegations. These are alleged, culprits. And that charges in the realm of conspiracy to steal, stealing, and all of those things, are the bits that are actually going to be presented to the court. So I think that, honestly, this fight against corruption is one that sometimes there has to be a bit of sunlight shown on everything that is happening. Sometimes information will have to be given for the population to also get abreast with some of the things that have happened. Because, you see, the mere fact that we know that NSA, these activities are happening there, it will put a lot more people on their toes now. Because in 2015, 16, 17, you were part of the things that happened there in terms of defending some of the people involved and all that. And fast forward, from 17 to 2025, same NSA. It's just that it's transitioning from NSS to NSA. The issues are still hovering around them. But I can tell you, with what is happening now, whoever is there now will have to be very careful in the approach to things. But I think that the two key words, probity and accountability, which used to be part of our general lingua as a country, somewhere along the line, we all lost the values in there.
Actually, the NDC's motto.
Well, it started with PNDC.
Yeah.
So we all lost the values.
It's in our constitution.
Yes, it's in our constitution.
It's in our preamble.
You see, we all lost the values in there. And I think that these are some of the things that gradually will bring that to the fore. And we should get to a point where I believe if we really want to fight corruption and corruption-related activities, some of these activities should become formalities and well ingrained in our structures of governance. So that when anybody is put in office, whether it's a political angle, whether it's a technocrat, whether you're a bureaucrat, or even a private person, an artificial legal entity dealing with entities of state or appointees of state who are the custodians of our resources, you'll be very mindful that one day you'll be called to account. And if we could even end up enshrining some of these things in law, such that every appointee or every government machinery activity, you know that periodically some of these investigations should be conducted and people who may have fallen foul will be actually punished properly. But in all this, I think the ultimate is that we should ensure that these activities are conducted under the ambit of proper rule of law.
As in the prosecution processes,
yes,
of course.
We should not entangle these activities with the political ones that we usually do. Let the courts do their work properly. Let the judges, the lawyers, and all persons involved do their work properly. As we were taught in school, the AG himself should also be mindful in the sense that the AG is there representing fairness and justice. His core duty is not to ensure that somebody is sent to jail, but to ensure that fairness and justice prevails. And if at the end of the proceedings, the judges decide that you have to go to jail, he would have done his work.
All right.
So let's take the political angle off and make sure that we enshrine this in the rule of law.
Thank you.